You had to shut the sound off. It was coming back. Right, here we go. Now we can shut this down and we will go here. And we will come here. And here. And here. And here we go. So, shalom, everybody, and welcome. Today we are going to go over love. That seems to be the theme for today, is love. All these verses, all these things that I know a lot of times that we think about these and we go over them and we even share them. But what does this really mean? Let all that you do be done in love. Ahab, love. We have to live our lives in love, because when we don't, we end up like the world. That's the world's problem, essentially, is it asks questions like, what if? Did he say? Is this really what's written? If we would love like we're supposed to, and we would learn to love, and we would do what we're supposed to do, then obviously we would know what this love is. We would understand what the love is. You know, it's amazing. We're just talking that David, the giant slayer, is portrayed as a harmist, psalmist, song-singing dancer, right? I want to dance like David danced. I want to do this. He's almost portrayed by churchianity as, you know, you'd think when you met him, he would sing in the choir. But yet, he fought lions, bears. I wonder where they got that. Lion, tigers, and bears. Oh my. I wonder where they got these things from. He slayed the giant. He didn't want armor. He wanted the giant. You know, I believe that he heard him talking about his creator. He heard him talking about his brothers. And he was like, we ain't, no. Why has nobody defeated this giant yet? Why are we talking? Why are we here? What's going on? I think his attitude was a little bit more than what we give him credit for. Churchianity gives him credit for, is, you know, dancing like David. We hardly ever see somebody saying, I want to slay a giant like David. I want to tackle a bear like David. I want to jump on a lion like David. I want to go and find the ark and bring it back like David. And even if we can't find the ark, we can bring the love back. We can bring the fellowship. We can bring the congregation. We can do the things that we're supposed to do, right? So a lot of times, you know, we get things so mixed up because we like David. We like the idea that this warrior plays a harp and he just, you know, dances, and he's got these attributes that a lot of people want to, you know, well, gee, I'm like that. I like listening to music. I like this. I like that. And we put all that on, and then we turn around and we don't know about Paul. We don't know what's going on. So we say, oh, well, Paul's the bad guy. And if you read and you'd understand, Paul might have a more loving heart than David in a way. He might have had more of the understanding. What you have to understand, when he went to these congregations, what he was dealing with, he taught some of these people for a year. Would you like to teach your child for a year and have them spit in your face? You have your child at 10 to 11 and you teach them math, and then they turn around and say, what's 1 + 1? They go 47. Is something wrong with you? No. Well, why are you acting like that? Well, you know, these congregations, these assemblies, he was teaching them Torah. He didn't pull out well, look, guys, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell you something that ain't written down nowhere, and you're going to find it. How did the Bereans find what he said? What, you know, think about it. Where did they find it? Did they write their own copy of what he said? Did they have scribes run around? And if the Bereans looked up what he said, if these people are looking up what he said, then obviously what he said was Torah, right? Or was there somebody running around with a whole bag of scrolls and just, hey, let's pick out this one and let's read what. No, he was doing the same thing, the Messiah, the Torah, the scriptures. And sometimes love will tell you not to do things. I know it's hard to believe, women. I know it's hard to believe, guys, but love will say, don't do that. It might be a hard teaching to say, don't eat pork, don't eat things sacrificed to idols, don't do these things. And gee, far be it for me to do it with a little sarcasm or a little bit of on it or a little bit of something that gets your attention instead of, well, today we're going to go over the reasons why we don't eat the pork. We don't eat the pork because it's got the worms. The pork has got the bad stuff in it, folks. We don't want to eat the pork because it's got the bad stuff. I mean, sometimes we ain't got time for that. Just don't eat it. You want to find out, pray about it. You want to find out, don't, or eat it. I think when we realize that he was not the pastor of your church, obviously. He was not the Pentecostal pastor who bangs his hand on the pulpit or the Baptist pastor that just don't believe in, he was trying to save people's lives. He was healing. He was doing the things the Messiah sent him forth to do. And for that, it's like he ain't got a refuge. He ain't got a refuge in the church. He ain't got a refuge in the assembly. Everybody lies about the poor guy. I mean, it's sad that when we think about it, we do the same things and have the same things happen. I can go to the Miracle Tabernacle and go down there and I'm loved and people love and they want to hear the Aaronic blessing in Hebrew and, sing it to us. And next week you go in and say, well, what about seats? And it says the ben, which means the children, the men, the boys, to wear the seat. And the ruckus that goes on. And then the party of humiliation afterwards. Is it not written that men and women should not wear the same clothing? Do you want the man grabbing on your thigh? Do you want a man grabbing a hold of you? Husbands, do you want to see your wife being groped? And they're saying they're trying to reach her seats? There's no account of a woman wearing seats. There's no account of a woman healing anyone wearing seats, but there is accounts of the Messiah wearing them. There is accounts that the apostles wore them. There is a scripture that says to wear them, but it also says not to wear the same thing. So how can you wear the same thing or not? So this is loving. I know a lot of people don't think it is. They think it's a correction. It's a hard saying or something, but love is really telling people the truth. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. If you tell somebody the truth, you tell your children the truth. Why? Because you want them to know that you love them. Don't stick your head in the oven. They may not understand. They might think you're the most terrible person. Well, Johnny lets his kids stick their heads in the oven. Well, this ain't Johnny's house. Well, they throw each other in the washing machine. Well, we don't do that here. What they do over there in Paganville is not what we're going to do over here in Righteousville. And that may not be understood until, could break my leg, could put my eyes out, could, render me with no hair. It could kill me to stick my head in the oven. But for the one that doesn't know, that's uneducated, they might think you're a terrible person. I don't know why. I've seen them do it over at their house. I don't know what's wrong with you. I see them do it. Well, we're not going to do it here. That's love. It's showing someone. So a lot of times love is showing others, but we also have to love one another. And it starts, I believe, in the congregation. It starts right at home, right there. And we love and we show others. The best thing is action. Talk and words. You can set a pulpit and scream this all day long, but then leave and not see anybody there for a month and claim you love your congregation. If you love them, you tell them the truth and stop trying to hide the truth from them. We all probably know this one, John 3:16. For Elohim so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. That's probably the most beloved verse, the most known verse on this earth. Now let's read it again and let's think about it and meditate it for just one moment. For Elohim, Yahweh himself, loved the world. We love that, right? That's just woohoo. That he gave his only son. Let's meditate and think about that. If you have children, what would you sacrifice your child for? What would you give your child for? Think about this. Now, we throw these verses out and we're saved because of this, and we're saved, and we say these verses, but we don't understand the love of the Creator and what he gave up, what he had to watch, what he had to endure, what Yeshua the Messiah had to do for that love. When we think about it, other than, oh, I can, John 3:16, I love the, and all them, coming across the Baptist pulpits like it's sweet candy. Come and get your cotton candy. Look at John 3:16. It's all for you. But when you think about it, if you was on the stake, would it feel like love? Was you going to the stake and knowing it, and in the garden and people are falling asleep because they won't even stay awake? It's sad. People won't even stay awake today. They don't want to hear that. It's not important to them. They don't understand what love is and what love does and what love will do for you and what we should show in that love, so that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. Whoever believes in Yahweh, whoever believes in Yeshua. You can't insert Buddha, Islam, Muslim, Buddha, the grasshopper, the golden calf. You have no right to insert your religion even. Well, Baptist, well, Pentecost, well, agnostic, well, the house and the fellowship of the Creator himself, or the crew of Nimrod. I mean, it really doesn't matter what you put there if you don't know the love of Yahweh. If you're not, this is all founded on the love. This is all founded that Yahweh himself says, please come to me. Please, I know you've done things wrong. I know you sinned. I know you've done all these horrible, horrible things, but you need to understand you did them. I don't know how many people I say, they're mad at God. You're mad at who? Well, there is no. Watch what comes out of your mouth before you know what I'm saying? The Creator of all things is who you're talking about. You may not understand that. You may be very uneducated. The church you went into might have gave you hot dogs and hula hoops and candy, but you need to understand the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. Without that, how can you obtain wisdom? People, I got a degree, and I don't care what your degree is in. If you don't fear Yahweh, if you're going to EIU and you're talking to Professor Know-It-All, and Professor Know-It-All has been doing this 37 years, his knowledge are minimum, almost null and void. His knowledge of Big Bang, how the earth spins, how it rotates, all that garbage that they come off demonic knowledge is all it is anyway. Most of their stuff is so upside down, they don't even know what they're talking about. I would love it if you're out there, you're a professor in this nonsense, call me up. Let's debate. Let's talk about your grand knowledge. Let's talk about what's the difference. Let's talk about it. See, that's what some of these apostles did. That's what Yeshua did. He come to them and he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He is, not me, his word. Yeshua is still the way, the truth, and the life. But that love is what separates us. You ever heard separate the men from the boys? That love is what separates the apostles, the true, the Ruach, and the world. And they know it. That's why they go to church and they say, oh, well, I'm going to be a member of the Baptist church in Knoxville, Tennessee. Okay, well, sign a thing and give us lots of money. Okay. And then what? And then what? And then a year later, you're still crushed and have problems and all these other things because you was never taught the love. 1 John 4:8, anyone who does not love does not know Elohim, because Yahweh is love. A lot of people quote that too, but they don't love each other. Not even within the assembly do a lot of these people truly love each other. What does that look like? Well, if you're having a leg broken, if you're having a problem, if you're having a cold and a sniffle, I'm going to say, hey, can I help you? What can I do? Is there anything I can do? If I love you, I'm going to help you, right? Husbands, wives, children, do you let your child run around snotty nose and say, oh, well, little brat, that's what he gets for going sticking his head in the toilet. That's what he deserves. No. Poor child, man, I can't believe it. I hope he gets over this, man. I hope that sore throat goes away. Oh, I'm going to pray, right? Because you love them. Last but not least, 1 Peter 4:8, above all, keep loving one another earnestly, since love conquers a multitude of sins. The best thing we can do, and especially in the foundation, is loving one another. To show the world the love, even if they don't understand why you're doing it, even if they can't comprehend it. We are set apart. We are peculiar. We are those set apart ones. How can we show that? How? I believe it shows. It's not just all inside me and whatever. No, it's all in me and out of me. If you eat the wrong thing, it's all in you and all coming out of you, right? It's going to. If you partake of the Ruach, it's going to be all inside of you, but you can't contain it. You can't contain it. If the Ruach comes upon you and says, you tell that person, you just almost, if you're obedient, you just got to give them a card. You just got to tell them. You just got to. It's that burning fire. I got to tell St. Nick at Walmart. I just got to tell him. Because if I don't tell him, one day he might stand in front of the Creator and point and say, that guy right there. How dare you let that man in? He stood before me, walked by and laughed and giggled and never told me a word. Is that love? Is that love? I'm a Pentecostal and I know it all and I am saved. And you're going to drown if it rains. Your nose is going to get full of water. That's not love. That's haughty. That's pride. He hates pride. We walk around, some people walk around that, oh my gosh, I'm saved, I've arrived, I'm there. You ain't there. You're far from there with that attitude. We got to humble ourselves before Yahweh and we got to listen. Because believe it or not, those persons that we need to reach, we may not even know right now. There's people in Trinidad, Tobago, Uzbekistan, Afghanistan. You know, Yahweh bless you. Be blessed, be loved. We still love you. We may not be on the same place, the same continent. We may not even have all the same beliefs as of yet. But if we read the Bible and we study the Bible, we will, if we're both obedient. So until next time, may Yahweh bless you. May his countenance shine upon you and may he grant you shalom. Shalom, and thank you very, very much for listening, for watching. May Yahweh bless you. Again, if you need anything, if you need prayer, any of those things, then by all means, get with us. Immersion, all the things that are in the scriptures, and especially prayer. So until next time, Yahweh's love. Love y'all. Shalom. May Yahweh bless you.